The sky was clear over Earth that morning. Birds flew without fear, people rushed to work, and everything felt normal. No one had any idea that the day would change history forever. In the control room of Earth's Space Observation Center, a man named Rami sat in front of his screen, drinking coffee. He looked tired. His night shift was almost over, just 20 minutes left. But something strange caught his eye. One of the satellites near Jupiter had stopped responding. He blinked and checked the readings again. The satellite was still offline. "Hey, Sarah," he called out to his teammate. "Can you check satellite J19? It's not responding?" Sarah, a sharp engineer with quick hands and sharp eyes, walked over and frowned. "It was fine 1 hour ago," she said. "Let me run a diagnostic." But the diagnostic didn't work. In fact, 3 more satellites near Jupiter suddenly went dark. Then, all at once, every satellite between Earth and Jupiter stopped sending signals. Silence on Earth. Thousands of scientists and engineers started seeing the same thing. The system wasn't broken. Something was blocking the signals. Something big at the same time. Many people across the planet saw a strange dark shape in the sky, not over Earth, but far away, near the distant planet of Jupiter. It was not a star. It didn't move. It just stayed there. News channels picked it up quickly. Breaking news. Unknown object spotted near Jupiter. "It's not a meteor," said another headline. Within 1 hour, every major space agency was watching the object. It looked like a ship, but its shape was strange-like. A perfect black triangle with no lights, no heat, and no noise. It gave off nothing. Not even a signal. It was like it didn't exist. The United Nations called an emergency meeting. Earth had seen alien ships before. There had been trade, war, peace, and politics with other species. But this was different. Even the Galactic Trade Union, which controlled most of known space, had no record of this ship. No flag. No ID, no sound. That's when the fear began to grow. At the far edge of space, Zorkai Empire. A empire and alien race known for its warships and pre-acted fast. They believed the object was a threat. Zorkai Emperor ordered a fleet of 200 ships to approach Jupiter. It was the largest battle fleet seen in years. The people of Earth watched the live feeds. Massive Zorkai warships moved into position, their weapons charged. Drones circled the black triangle. Still, it did not react. "Unknown ship is unresponsive," said the Zorkai commander over the open channel. "Target lock complete." Commander gave the order. 200 warships fired everything: plasma bombs, quantum missiles, black matter torpedoes. The sky near Jupiter exploded in light and fire. And then, silence. The explosions faded as the fire died. The unknown ship was still there, unharmed, unmoved, untouched. But the Zorkai fleet was gone. Not destroyed, not damaged, just gone. No wreckage, just no signals, no escape pods. Everything vanished in 1 second. People around the world gasped. Some screamed. Scientists stood frozen. Leaders didn't know what to say. Union was silent. The Empire had vanished. The Zorkai homeworld tried to contact its fleet. Nothing. Their systems crashed. Chaos broke out on their planets. Within minutes, the entire Zorkai government collapsed. The ship did nothing else. It didn't move. It didn't speak. It just waited. For the next few hours, every mind on Earth was focused on that one question. What was this ship? In a small apartment in Karachi, a young boy named Kiran sat on the floor with his laptop. He was a coding genius. Only 17, but he had hacked into deep space feeds. He had access to military signals, and he noticed something no one else had seen. There was a pattern. Every time the ship pulsed, slightly a small flash to fast for normaliza. Satellite would go dark. The pulses were like a countdown. He opened a chat with his online friend Lena, a student in a space research program in Moscow, I think. "It's scanning the solar system," Kiran typed. "Each pulse erases something." "Like what?" Lena asked. "I don't know." But the Zorkai fleet was gone right after a big pulse. "Are we next?" she asked. Kieran didn't answer. In the Space Observation Center, Rami and Sarah were now joined by military officers. Everyone stared at the live feed from Jupiter. The unknown ship hadn't moved in hours. But now something changed. The black triangle began to rotate slowly, not like a machine, but more like it was. It's looking at Earth suddenly, every screen. On Earth, every phone, every TV, every radio turned black. Then a deep voice spoke. No words, just a sound. Low, rumbling, like thunder from inside the Earth. People dropped their phones. Some fell to their knees. The voice was followed by a single message. It appeared in every language at once. It has begun. And then the screens went back to normal. No one knew what it meant. At first, there was panic. People rushed to buy supplies. Governments went on high alert. Fighter jets flew over cities, but nothing else happened. The ship stayed silent. For a whole day, the world waited, and then something terrifying occurred. Astronomers noticed that a star in the Andromeda galaxy had vanished. Not gone supernova. Not collapsed. Just blinked out of existence. Kieran noticed that the disappearance matched the timing of the ship's last pulse. He posted a message on a secret forum. The ship is erasing stars. No one believed him. But then 2 more stars disappeared. Then 5. The pattern was clear. With each pulse, something was being deleted, not destroyed. Deleted as if it had never been there. Dr. Lena called Kieran in the middle of the night. Her voice was shaking. There's a signal buried in the pulse. I found it, it says. Trial begins. Kieran stared at his screen. Trial? Maybe it's not just watching, Lena said. Maybe it's judging us. He looked back at the image of the black triangle, so quiet, so still, so powerful. A single ship and an entire empire vanished in seconds. What kind of power could do that? What kind of being would erase stars like turning off lights? And why was it now watching? Earth. The world didn't sleep after the message. It has begun. Even after a full day, the strange black ship near Jupiter had not moved. But stars were still vanishing one by one. Telescopes confirmed it. The pattern was not random. It was getting faster. In dark rooms, leaders whispered. In secret bases, scientists worked without rest. Everyone was trying to understand one thing. What did the ship want? Inside the Moonbase Observation Center, a young officer named Captain Mira watched. Silent data scroll across her screen. She had seen many strange things in her time, but nothing like this. Suddenly, one of her screens flashed. A new signal had appeared, coming from deep space. Faint, broken, old but real, unknown transmission received. Her system said. She called for backup. Within minutes, 5 experts sat around her. The message was playing again and again, a strange voice. Broken words, static in between. But 3 things stood out clearly. The first part was coordinates pointing directly to Earth's moon. The second part was a whisper. It sees what you hide. And the third part was a warning. It will finish what it started. The message had no origin, no known language. But it was somehow human Earth Command acted fast. A special team was sent to the moon. No one knew what to expect. Place was old, an abandoned zone with broken satellites and deep tunnels. The team moved slowly. Scanners beeped. Energy levels were rising. Deep under the surface, behind layers of forgotten metal, they found a door. A door no human had ever opened. It was cold, smooth, and completely black. The leader of the team, Colonel Ayad, reached out and touched it. Instantly, the door melted into mist. Behind it was a chamber. Inside there was no dust, no time. Everything was perfect. And at the center of the room stood a floating black cube. It made no sound. It had no weight. It just hovered. And around it, walls filled with symbols, alien scripts. Some that looked strangely like ancient human language. The cube pulsed once. Everyone froze. Back on Earth, Kieran and Lena were watching the moon feed. Through a secret link. That's the same cube from the old legends, Lena said. I saw it in a painting once, from Samaria. Kieran was typing fast. He was already decoding the message from earlier. It's not just a cube, he said. It's sending out waves. Every 6 hours. Same as the star pulses. I think the ship and the cube are connected. Lena stared at her screen. But why hide it on the moon? I think it was left here a long time ago, Kieran said. Before even humans existed? Meanwhile, the moon team tried to scan the cube. Every machine failed. But something else happened every time someone looked at it. They saw something. Different one. Soldier saw fire. Another saw stars. Colonel Ad saw his own death. He backed away, shaking. It's reading us, he said. It knows what we fear. Just then the cube pulsed again. This time a hologram appeared above. Its room turned dark. The hologram showed galaxies spinning, stars being born. Then they started vanishing. One by one, it was showing destruction. It was showing history. Lena gasped. That's not just a vision. That's real. That's what it has already done. Kieran's face turned pale. It's not just watching us, it's cleaning the universe. Like deleting files from a computer. Then Earth is next, Lena whispered, suddenly. The cube pulsed for the third time, and a voice echoed through the room, clear and deep. Cycle repeated. Pattern unchanged. Final judgment begins. The voice was not human, but it was not robotic either. It sounded ancient, like it had seen everything. The moon team backed away slowly, but the cube was not done. On Earth, every screen blinked again. But this time, the message was longer. You were warned. You repeated the path. You will now be weighed. People screamed. Prayers were said. Armies moved into alert. But none of it mattered. The unknown ship near Jupiter rotated once more. This time it fully faced Earth. One more pulse came from the ship, and another star disappeared. This time a planet near that star went dark too. It was real. Whatever this thing was, it could destroy not just stars but entire systems. The Galactic Union tried to contact it. No reply. They sent diplomats, probes, gifts. Nothing returned. Then someone remembered something strange. In the year 1961. A radio signal had been received, one that no one could explain. It had been lost in the files for years. Lena and Kieran found it again. The pattern was the same as the current signal. The ship had been watching Earth for a long, long time. Even before humans had space travel. Even before humans had nukes, maybe. Even before humans fully understood fire. The message was always there. Waiting for the moment Earth became a danger. Now that moment had come. Back on the moon, the cube changed color for the first time, from black to red. And on the walls, one new word appeared in every language: prepare. The black cube on the moon now glowed red. The word prepare burned into the minds of everyone who saw the live feed. Some people cried, some prayed. Others packed their things and tried to leave Earth, though there was nowhere to run world. Leaders tried to calm the public, but they were just as afraid. Back in the moon base, Colonel Iad and his team stood around the cube. They didn't dare touch it again. It had already spoken. It was still pulsing. One pulse. It's every 6 hours. Every time it pulsed, a star system vanished, and the unknown ship near Jupiter had not moved an inch. Still watching. Still silent. Earth's top scientists gathered in Geneva. Kieran and Lena were called to join remotely. They were among the only people who had figured out the cube's pattern. Dr. Elena Mays, head of Earth's Alien Technology Division, stood in front of a large screen showing the galaxy. We believe the cube is an ancient device, she said. It was left behind by something far older than any known species. She pointed at the hologram. These stars here? Gone. Not destroyed, just erased. We checked. There is no trace left, as if they were never there. Lena asked. Is it deleting the galaxy? Dr. Mays nodded. One sector at a time. And Earth is near the center of the pattern. People in the room began whispering. Some shouted. One person fainted. But the cube had more secrets to show. Kieran, still working from his apartment, received something strange from the moon feeder. New energy pattern coming from the cube. It's changing, he told Lena. It's unlocking something. The moon team confirmed it. Chamber shifted. A second wall opened behind the cube, revealing ancient carvings in strange black stones. The carvings showed something shocking. Humans, paintings of humans standing beside the cube. But the carvings were thousands, maybe millions of years old. Colonel Ayad stared at the images. That's impossible. Humans didn't exist back then. Dr. Mays looked closer. Maybe not our kind of humans, but something close. Something similar. The walls showed a story of a great trial. Civilizations standing before a black ship. Civilizations being judged. And then, nothing each time. The final image was darkness. Erased. Lena whispered. This thing has done this before. Kieran typed quickly. It's a machine, but it acts like a god. It doesn't ask. It watches. It decides. Dr. Mays nodded. Maybe facing a silent god, a judge of life itself. The message was clear. Humanity was being watched not for war, not for peace, but for its pattern, its history, its cruelty, its lies, and its potential. But Earth wasn't alone. Something strange happened 2 hours later. The Galactic Union received a message from a far-off species, the Vernae. They were silent monks who lived near the edge of the galaxy. Their message was short. We faced the silent god. We begged. We changed. It watched, and then it left. Kieran read the message aloud. So there's a chance we can survive, Lena replied. But we have to change. Fast. Meanwhile, strange things were happening around the world. People began to hear whispers not from phones, not from radios, but inside their minds. Messages, warnings. Some heard voices asking them questions. Why do you destroy your home? Why do you kill your own kind? Why do you lie to survive? These were not random dreams. These were direct messages from the cube.org. Something behind it. In hospitals, people in comas woke up screaming. Children drew pictures of a triangle ship floating above burning cities. Animals began acting strange, gathering in circles, staring at the sky. All across the planet, strange energy fields appeared. One near Antarctica, one in the Sahara, one deep in the Pacific Ocean, and all of them pointed in the same direction. Jupiter, the silent ship, the one that destroyed the Zorkai. Empire in a blink, the one that had not spoken a single word until now, because at exactly midnight, Earth time, it sent its second message. Every person heard it. Every screen showed it. Every radio played it. Not loud, not violent. Just a voice, calm, cold. Ancient, you are not the first. You are not the worst, but you are not ready. Then came silence. The moon cube turned black again, but a countdown appeared on the wall, 0.72 hours. The clock had started. Kieran stared at it. We have 3 days. Until what? Lena said nothing, because she already knew. 3 days until the final judgment. The countdown on the moon wall continued to tick. 72 hours. 71 hours. The black cube no longer pulsed. The ship near Jupiter had not moved. But the fear across Earth was growing fast. No one had answers. Only questions. In a hidden archive beneath. The old city of Istanbul, Dr. Lena was now working with a team of historians. She had asked for access to ancient records, files that most people had forgotten or ignored. She had a theory. What if this isn't the first time it came to Earth? She said quietly. The others stared at her. You mean the cube? Man asked. No, she said, the ship. The silent god. She placed a scroll on the table. It was from ancient Samaria, thousands of years old. The writing spoke of a black triangle in the sky, a god with no name, and cities that vanished overnight. Next, she opened a book from ancient China. It told of a sky demon that erased a mountain village without fire or sound. Another record. from Central America spoke of a floating shadow that took the stars from the sky, and one thing connected them all: a black cube, hidden, feared, and worshipped. Kieran joined her call from his dark apartment. Surrounded by screens, "I found cave paintings in Africa," he said. "They're older than any language. But one symbol keeps repeating." He shared the image. A triangle, floating silent, watching. Dr. Lena felt her chest tighten. "It's been here before," she said. "Every few thousand years? Watching, judging." One historian spoke slowly. "Maybe humanity passed the test last time. Or maybe we forgot what it cost," Lena whispered. Meanwhile, governments tried to stay in control. The countdown had spread to every device on Earth. No one could remove it. Phones, TVs, holograms, even watches. Everywhere people looked, they saw the same thing. Time left, 69 hours, but something stranger happened in the night. All across the world, power grid shut down for exactly 6 minutes. When they returned,
Ow.
thousands of strange carvings were found burned into walls, roads, and even trees. No human did it. No machine could explain it. They were warnings. Some showed Earth cracked in two, others showed stars fading into dust, but one image appeared. Everywhere the ship, the black triangle, always floating, always watching. In a research lab in Berlin, Dr. Mays had begun to understand something terrifying. "The cube isn't just a device," she said to her team. "It's a recorder. A memory storage. Shows what it has seen." And then they realized it. Every 6 hours, the cube's pulses didn't just erase something, they also recorded humanity's response. Were people kind? Were they selfish? Did they fight? Or did they unite? Kieran watched camera footage from around. The world there was chaos, riots, looting, violence. But there were also moments of peace, people feeding the hungry, helping strangers, hugging enemies. The world was split, and maybe that was the true test. On the second day, the cube changed. Again, it began showing visions to selected people, not leaders, not scientists, but children, farmers, elders. Each person who touched the cube saw a different past, different future. One child saw Earth covered in light and green. Another saw it shattered into silence. One woman from Kenya said she saw herself standing before the black ship, alone, and it asked her only one question: "What have you done to deserve survival?" The next morning, 48 hours remained, and Kieran made a terrifying discovery. He tracked back the cube's energy signature. It led to a deep cave in the Amazon rainforest. They're hidden behind thick vines. They found a second cube, old, broken, dead. But beside it was something else. A skeleton, not human. Lena flew to the site herself. The bones were huge, twisted, and nothing like Earth creatures. And carved into the stone wall were the last words of this dead species: "We failed the test. We refused to see our truth. May the next world do better." Lena stepped back. Tears. In her eyes, it was real. The silent god had tested other species before, and most had failed. Now it was Earth's turn, and the countdown kept ticking. Time left. 42 hours. The final message from the cave shook everyone. Carved in ancient language, it read, "The god does not destroy out of anger, but destroys to protect." What's left of the light? The silent ship still waited, still watched, still said nothing, but the shadows inhuman. History had returned, and they brought the truth. This test was not about war. It was not about weapons. It was about worth. Time left, 36 hours. That number glowed across the sky now, like a ghost burned into the clouds. The countdown had moved beyond screens. It was in the air, in people's minds, in every mirror. Every shadow, there was no escape from it. People everywhere had changed. Some helped each other. They shared food, carried the sick, prayed together, but others gave up. They believed it was already over. In some cities, buildings were on fire. In others, people gathered and stared at the sky, waiting. For the end, at the United Earth Command Base, General Howard looked over the reports. He had seen war, alien invasions, and even interdimensional threats, but never this. "What are we supposed to shoot at?" he said, slamming the table. "It's just watching." "Maybe that's the point," whispered Dr. Mays beside him, and the moon base, the black cube, began pulsing again. The walls flashed symbols faster than before. A new message appeared. "You may act, but your choices are remembered." Colonel Iad stood silently watching. "Is that a warning?" No one answered. Back on Earth, Kieran worked non-stop. He had connected dozens of data feeds, mooncube signals, deep space sensors, and ancient symbols. He had an idea. One last chance. If we can talk to it. "Directly," he said. "Maybe it will listen. But how?" Lena asked. "Ship doesn't speak. Not with sound," Kieran said. "With memory." Gren explained that the cube could respond to thoughts, visions, and truth. If Earth could send it a clear message of unity, peace, and change, it might be enough to buy time. He would need to send it through the cube, using his own mind. "But that's dangerous," Lena said. "The cube shows you your deepest fears." "Don't care," he replied. "If I don't try, we all die anyway." The team prepared the moon chamber. Machines were turned off. Lights dimmed. The room was silent. Kieran sat down in front of the cube. He placed his hand on it. Instantly, he froze. His body stiffened. His eyes turned black. His mind was somewhere else. He saw visions of Earth, war, greed, pain, then love, sacrifice, beauty. Then nothing but stars falling, a world's erased, darkness. A deep voice echoed in his mind. "You ask for time. You show what is rare. Will your kind protect it?" "I don't know," Kieran whispered. "But I will." The cube glowed. The symbols changed again. Then everything stopped. Kieran fell back, conscious. For a moment, everyone thought he had died. Then he opened his eyes. "It heard me," he whispered. "But it hasn't decided." Time left, 24 hours. Meanwhile, the Galactic Union had made a bold move. They gathered their remaining fleets, all species. All systems, and launched them toward Jupiter. They didn't trust the cube. They didn't trust Earth. They thought the only way to stop the ship was to destroy it. Their fleet was massive. Thousands of ships. They surrounded the Black Triangle and opened fire. Missiles, energy beams, antimatter cannons. The entire area around Jupiter lit up like a sun on Earth. People watched live feeds. For a moment, it looked like it worked. The ship seemed to vanish in the explosions. But then, everything stopped. The light faded. The ship was still there. No damage, no change. And the fleet. Gone. Not destroyed. Gone. Erased. Just like the Zorkai Empire. No ships, no wreckage, no signals. Silence, then. The black ship moved. For the first time, it changed position. Slowly it turned. Toward Earth. The final message arrived. One word, burned into every sky, whispered into every ear. Enough. Time left. 18 hours. The sky had changed. It no longer looked blue in the daytime. It had turned pale, washed out. Empty. At night, fewer stars were visible. People no longer asked if this was real. They already knew. The final judgment was coming. The silent ship, still above Jupiter, was now slowly moving toward Earth. It didn't rush. It didn't speak. It simply approached, 1 second at a time, in every major city. World leaders gathered. In bunkers, military generals, scientists, priests, and scholars sat in the same rooms, speaking the same words. What now? In the moon base, the black cube pulsed again. But this time, no images appeared. It was waiting. Dr. Mays stood in front of the cube and whispered, "It gave us time, but not mercy." Kieran, still weak from his last connection, sat quietly. His body trembled, but his eyes were focused. "Know what we have to do?" he said. Everyone turned toward him. "We have to talk to it." "One last time," he said. "Not just with my thoughts, with everyone's, together." "You want to link the minds of all humans?" Lena asked. "Yes," Kieran said. "I can do it through the cube signal. But I need energy. Power. From everywhere. Colonel Ayad stepped forward. "We'll give you everything we have." Across Earth, energy grids were redirected. Satellites were realigned. Thousands of people volunteered to help, to open their minds and send their feelings, memories. Hopes, regrets through the cube. Not just scientists, not just soldiers, ordinary people, mothers, teachers, children, even prisoners. Everyone was asked one question: what does humanity deserve? The answers came flooding in. Kieran began the link. His fingers shook. His eyes rolled back. The cube turned, white-hot. Memories rushed through him like a storm. He saw fire. He saw betrayal, kindness, pain, joy. Billions of thoughts tied together. The cube absorbed them all. Then it pulsed. Hard a shockwave hit the moon, the Earth, the ship. And for the first time, the silent ship responded. It turned slightly away. Only slightly, but it stopped moving forward. Kieran fell unconscious. Dr. Mays ran to him. "Is he alive?" "He's breathing," Lena said, "but just barely." Then something new happened. The cube began to melt, slowly, quietly. It turned into light, pure, soft light. It rose into the air, vanished, gone, no signal, no energy. It was finished. But was it enough? Earth waited. Time left. 12 hours. The silent ship remained still. No movement, no message, no pulse around the world. People stood together in silence. No more panic, no more running, just waiting. And then a sound, a soft hum. Every person on Earth heard it, a deep, slow tone like a heartbeat. Then a single message echoed inside every human mind. One chance remains. The sky flickered, the stars returned, the clouds cleared, and a second ship appeared. Smaller, slower, but just as dark. It floated above Mars, watching, waiting. Time left. 6 hours. The world stood still. The silent ship no longer moved. It floated above Earth, motionless. Its surface reflected no light. Its presence felt like a weight on every heart. The second ship above Mars hadn't moved either. Just waited, like a shadow watching from afar, all across Earth. People gathered in silence. There were no alarms now, no sirens, no leaders giving speeches, only waiting in the moon base. Lena AD, Dr. Mays, Lena, and a recovering Kieran sat before. Empty screens. The cube was gone. The energy pulses had stopped. They had done everything they could. Now, it wasn't in their hands. Suddenly, the silent ship glowed. Not bright, just enough. A faint outline of light ran along its edges, and then it happened. Time slowed. Literally, birds stopped midair. Cars froze on highways. Oceans held their waves still. Only humans could move, and not all, just some. Chosen individual scientists, children, soldiers, and farmers found themselves standing in a different place. Not Earth, not space. Somewhere else, eh? Space without walls or light, a place where time had no meaning. And in that space, the voice spoke again. "You are the last voice of your kind. You stand before the judgment." Dr. Mays looked around and realized she wasn't alone. Hundreds, maybe thousands stood beside her. Lena saw her late father, standing behind her. Kieran was there too, but younger, his child self. Each person stood with a version of who they were, and who they might have been. Then the voice asked only one question. "Why do you deserve to exist?" It wasn't said with anger. It wasn't a threat. It was a test. The final one. Each person saw different memories. Wars, bombs, lies, pollution, but also a hand reaching out, a mother holding her baby, a soldier saving an enemy, a dying child sharing a toy. The silent space became filled with voices. Some cried, some begged, some stayed silent, but slowly. Something changed. They began to answer, not with excuses, but with truth. Dr. Mays said, "We destroy, but we also build," Lena whispered. "We fear, but we learn." Kieran said nothing, simply showed a memory. He was 5 years old, sitting in the rain, giving his last piece of bread to a stray puppy. The silent voice responded, "Most fall. Few rise. You may rise, if you choose it." Suddenly, the space shattered like glass. Everyone returned to Earth. The sky looked different, brighter, alive, but one thing remained above them, the timer. 0 hours, 5 minutes, and 0 seconds, 5 minutes left. The ships didn't move. The Earth didn't shake. No destruction came, but something was coming. A black wave of energy appeared at the edge of the sky. Stretching from horizon to horizon, it was silent, slow, final. All systems shut down. All ships fell from orbit. Every city went dark. People hugged, cried, held hands. Kieran stood beside Lena. Dr. Mays closed her eyes. Colonel Iad saluted the sky. And then the wave stopped, just meters above Earth. Frozen, glowing, waiting, anew. Symbol appeared in the sky, not a word. A choice too. Paths. One light, one shadow. And the voice returned one last time. You have seen yourself. Choose what you will. Become. The black wave hung above Earth, still and heavy, like a dark ocean waiting to fall. 5 minutes had passed, and yet the wave had not moved. The voice had spoken. You have seen yourself. Now choose what you will become. But no one knew what that meant. Not exactly across the planet. People waited, some in fear, some in hope. In the moon base, Lena sat beside Kieran, who was still weak. The cube was gone. The signals had stopped, and the countdown was frozen. Everything had gone silent, Colonel. I had stood in the control room, staring out the window. He had spent his life preparing for war. But no weapon could stop this. No army could save Earth from this judgment. Dr. Mays held a small recorder in her hand. She turned it on and spoke. If this is our last moment, let history, if it survives, remember. This, we tried. But somewhere deep in the minds of people across the world, something had changed. Children began drawing strange symbols again. Teenagers suddenly understood languages they had never studied. Elders remembered dreams from decades ago, visions of black ships and glowing paths. The message was clear. This was not a punishment. This was a test. The wave above Earth was not here to destroy, but to a race of Earth chose the wrong path. The two paths in the skylight and shadow were symbols of a final decision, and it would not be made by leaders, not by governments, but by the people. For the first time in human history, every person could feel it inside their minds, inside their hearts, a soft question pulsing in their thoughts. Will you change? No one told them what to do, but people began to move. In New York, helicopters dropped their weapons and helped homeless families find food in a war-torn desert. Soldiers from both sides laid down their guns and walked toward each other's lowly hands. Open in India, thousands sat in silence beside rivers, whispering apologies to the earth. In Africa, tribes and cities joined hands, forming human chains, sending their thoughts upward. In Russia, China, Brazil, Japan, Pakistan, Mexico, all across the globe, people looked up and began to speak as one, not with words, with feeling regret, hope, love, forgiveness. The wave above Earth shimmered. It began to move, but upward, not down. The ship that had stayed silent for so long began to glow faintly. A deep hum filled the airlow, peaceful, not frightening. And then, the second ship, above Mars, responded. It moved. For the first time, it drifted slowly toward Earth, like a guardian coming home. Kieran stood weakly and walked to the moonbase window. He looked at the ships. They gave us a chance, he whispered. We didn't deserve it, but we took it.
Lena
joined him. Do you think it's over? Kieran shook his head. No, I think it's just the beginning. The black waves slowly disappeared. Like smoke fading in wind, the sky turned blue again. Stars returned. The two ships hovered for one final moment. Then, in perfect silence, they vanished. No flash, no sound, just gone. but they left something behind. In orbit above Earth, a strange light appeared. A small cube, not black this time, but white. It pulsed gently, like a heartbeat. Inside it was a message, not in a voice, not in symbols, but in a feeling. A warning and a promise. We will watch. We will return. This time, you chose life. Next time, choose better. Kieran stepped forward and placed his hand on the window. All across Earth, lights returned. Cities powered back up. Plants and polluted rivers began to bloom again. People hugged. Strangers, enemies embraced. Even for a moment, the world felt new. But they knew. It wasn't magic. It was a second chance. A chance earned by truth, not lies. By unity, not force. By choosing the harder path. The path of light 10 years later. The Earth looked different. Cleaner skies. Less war. Borders faded. Nations now worked together in silence, watching the stars. The white cube still floated in orbit, untouched, still, pulsing. Waiting, humanity never forgot, and every year on the same date the world stopped. People looked up and remembered the day the sky went silent, the day the empire vanished, the day Earth made its choice, the day a silent God passed them by.